Good afternoon and welcome to this virtual international conference, COVID-19, a game changer in education, reconnecting virtually, organized by the National Center for Educational Development at Qatar University's College of Education. I am Susanna Mascarenas, a Senior Professional Development Specialist with the National Center for Educational Development. I am moderating this research paper presentation session titled COVID-19 Practices and Expectations. This is a 2-hour session, and 7 esteemed researchers will present their research. Each presentation will be 15 minutes long. At the end of all the presentations, there will be a 15-minute question-and-answer session requesting all attendees to post your questions in the chat box during the presentations, along with the name of the presenter to whom it is directed. I will redirect your questions to the respected presenter. And also requesting presenters to kindly keep to the time limit. Thank you. Our first presenter is Professor Mahmoud Alumari from our very own Qatar University. He has been a professor in wellness and lifestyle at the Department of Physical Education at Qatar University since 2018. During his academic post here, he has taught several courses including anatomy and physiology, motor learning and development, physical activity biomechanics, physical activity for handicap. This is just to name a few. His research interest is examining the relationship of health with lifestyle. Professor will now present his research titled COVID-19 Induced Confinement is Associated with Changes in Reading Habits. Professor, the stage is yours.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon, everybody. I would like to welcome everybody. I also would like to thank my colleagues who helped me with this particular study. Needless to say, as you all might know, that COVID-19 pandemic has spread all over the world, viciously claiming many patients and lives. So subsequently, as a result of that, many governments around the world has resorted to confinement measures to contain the disease spread. The impact of the pandemic, the impact of the disease on lifestyle, in addition to the application of containment measures, have tremendous effect on lifestyle and behavior. Reading is one of the most leisure activities while in confinement. For example, reading is ranked the #1 preferred leisure time activity in space trips. Books are the highest ranked personal equipment that astronauts packed in space missions. Reading was one of the most practiced activities during leisure time in the Antarctic and submarine missions. Reading helped prisoners to improve peace of mind, enhance knowledge, strengthen character, decrease the rate of recidivism, and to avoid guilt feelings. All of these are situations of confinement in different locations, different circumstances. And as you might notice, many studies have shown the importance of books and reading for these individuals. Previous studies have shown changes in eating habits, physical activities, smoking habits during confinement. All are lifestyle habits. However, no studies have examined the effect of confinement during COVID-19 on reading habits. Therefore, two purposes of this study. Purpose #1 is to examine changes in reading habits during COVID-19 induced confinement. Number 2 is to determine the possible factors that can contribute to these changes. In this particular study, this study is cross-sectional. We use survey. The survey was distributed during April and May of 2020. We recruited males and females above the age 18. Definitely, all participants signed an informed consent approved by the IRB. We use social media to distribute our survey. Three main components. This is just to give you an idea about this study. This particular study is part of a larger project that includes many aspects, including reading. For this particular study, we had three main components in the survey we distributed. Demographics, which include age, gender, socioeconomic status, such as job, education, and income, perception about COVID-19 disease, and most importantly, changes in reading habits during COVID-19 induced confinement. In the survey, we asked questions about 4 types of readings. These 4 types of readings include specialized reading, such as scientific journals, things related to professional reading, such as, for example, economic books, general knowledge reading, such as magazines and newspapers, story and novels, and holy books, not necessarily only the actual holy books, such as the Bible or the Quran, but anything related to religion. And we ask questions for each particular type of reading. The question was, what changes have you experienced in the following reading types due to the spread of COVID-19? Each participant or the participant had 3 choices, and these choices were used for statistical analysis. These choices were increase, decrease, or no change. So basically, we were to ask, what changes have you experienced in reading specialized material? The participant would choose either increase, decrease, or no change. These are our participants. As you might notice, we have over 1,800 individuals, males and females. Most of our participants are females. About 70% of our participants are females. Age, weight, and height for our participants were 33 years old, 72 kilograms, 166 centimeters. Most of our participants held a bachelor degree, were from middle income socioeconomic status, and most of them also were unemployed or retired. This is our main finding. As you might notice, in the diagram, the columns or the rows in red, or the parts in red, represent the ones who did not change, or the prevalence of no change in reading habits or reading types. As you might notice, that the majority of our participants experienced either no change in reading habits, around 50% for each type of reading, and also we had a good bit of our participants had an increase in reading habits, somewhere around 30%. So we have roughly about 80% of our participants either did not change or increase their reading, prospective reading type. Regarding the factors contributing to these changes, we found that age, education, job type, and income were related to reading specialty material. Reading holy books was associated with education, income, and job type. Reading general knowledge materials such as in newspapers were related to age, education, and income, while reading stories were related to age, education, and job type. In conclusion, the majority of the participants reported either no change or an increase in reading. Additionally, the data has shown that age, education, income, and job type seem to predict changes in reading habits. This result suggests that COVID-19 induced confinement might impose no change or positive change in reading. However, Studies and interventions are warranted to further understand changes in reading and to design and implement strategies to encourage reading during long-term disease-induced confinement. Thank you all for listening, and I'm welcoming your questions.
Thank you, Professor Mahmoud Al-Omari, for that. Our next speaker, you're welcome. We now have Dr. Yusuf Ashabul, also from Qatar University, an associate professor in English education. He earned his PhD in curriculum and instruction reading from the University of North Texas, USA. Dr. Ashabul has taught undergrad and grad programs spanning more than 16 years in different countries like the USA, UAE, Jordan, and Qatar. His research interests are in reading, language, arts, assessment, ESL, EFL, teaching, learning, and family literacy. Doctor will speak on his research. COVID-19 expedites the turning over to technology-embedded remote teaching. Over to you, Doctor.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everybody. It's very nice to be here, in fact, with all of you to talk about COVID-19 as a changer for the situation that we are going through since almost a year. My topic here will be about this, in fact, huge, unprecedented, at least for this century, unprecedented event where every walk of life is like suffering. My topic is the following: COVID-19 expedites the turning over to technology. We're looking here for technology-embedded remote teaching. I'll go just through some introduction to put everybody within the context. The beginning of the 2020 witnessed the advent of COVID-19. When we look back to the November and December of 1919, we've been like watching on the news here and there some snapshots about what's going on in China, Wuhan. Then all of a sudden we found ourselves like in the middle of the storm. So it all started in Wuhan, China. Then the pandemic swept almost every corner of this globe. Of course, that pandemic put everyone on alert. Countries started thinking of how to retaliate, looking at the pandemic as very threatening to all humankind. Retaliation, countries differed in the style and the procedures, reacted differently for one goal, of course, how to every government to protect its citizens against such an outbreak virus. We need to make sure that the any inappropriate response or deficiencies and retaliation would, of course, result in great losses and maximize the waste of every society. And education is no exception. Globally, millions and millions of students suffered of the pandemic. Some lost education, some their education got suspended, others maybe were at a better shape where they got their face-to-face education replaced by the remote learning. Some snapshots about what happened, the global trend prior to COVID-19. Of course, the world were not ready to trade the face-to-face interaction or learning for the remote or the technology learning. That was not in the plans of education institutions. Official education systems were not counting on online teaching as a full teaching to overtake and steer the or to replace the real teaching or the one that we are used to. and would not consider it as a real alternative for the face-to-face. And we've been reading and going over some research talking about what if the technological or the remote or the embedded teaching will replace the teachers in classrooms. Governments, education institutions in specific, we did not see any of them sending their candidates to online institutions to receive their degrees. We are used, and this is what's normal, that if we're sending our graduates to get their degrees, we would send them, or we would prefer the face-to-face education. Yes, there were calls to embed technology in education. However, that never meant for technology to take over and replace teachers in classrooms. And for education, the education systems all over the world, yes, they were encouraging technology integration. Yes, we need technology to enhance our teaching. However, it was left also for the instructors to decide how far to go with that, how far to embed technology in his classroom instructions. And of course, the decision of the instructors and their preference, of course, would be based on their philosophies of using technology, how they look at embedding technology, their beliefs, the skills they have. And we know, of course, all those will be affecting the degree to the limit and how far their teaching will allow technology to be part of their instruction. And we know beliefs and familiarity of the instructor are cornerstones in such decisions. With COVID-19 as the new player, the situation got changed dramatically. In fact, the world was like in front of an extraordinary and controversial decisions to be taken. All of a sudden, everyone finds himself like in front of unprecedented context where there's no chance to delay in taking decisions. The world clings to online teaching as like the savior amidst the chaos. COVID-19, yes, it changed the rules. The world has to, in fact, take decisions to rapidly switch to remote learning. Some took decisions really rapidly, weeks after the break of the pandemic. Maybe others got late on that, but in general, yes, everyone was like trying to survive. No long teachers' attitudes, their philosophies maybe matter at that point. What mattered was how to beat the pandemic, how to survive, how to keep our education going on. For some, this meant to beat all the odds if we're not technology fans. Even if those who were like not pro-technology or they have some low skills at technology, that was no matter a kind of a luxury to discuss. It is a kind of be or not to be. If we're not for the online teaching, in fact, education could have lost a lot. That is what we can say here. If we're talking about mitigating our losses, COVID-19 disrupted the education system. Yes, that's for sure. Mitigating losses and changes is justified for the time being and not, but for not long. Yes, we need to maybe evaluate and see what reflect on how we performed at that moment. But we need to benefit from that for our future and the future to come and our coming days. Assessment-wise, when it comes to evaluation, we noticed that some chose to change partially and replace the mechanics, or the assessment mechanics, with more doable ones in order to cope with the sweeping the pandemic. Although this should not be the norm, if to continue with the remote mode, if we are going to, we need to learn from our lessons. Yes, it took us off guard, but we need to learn our lessons and now to work on establishing a more solid assessment system. Some chose to stop teaching during the spring semester. Others chose to continue while shifting to online teaching immediately. Different scenarios were subject to trial and error at its best. So everyone was trying to put his plan ahead and see if that works for him and for his students. The local scenario here for QU, how did QU retaliate against this pandemic? In fact, maybe we were lucky here in QU. Our experience is unique for many reasons. The transition to online teaching took place without any major disturbances, as we noticed today from the presentations and the talk that took place here. QU took the decisions to go ahead in the spring semester, not to stop teaching. Through, of course, moving to Blackboard and the other system that we have to support our students. And this happened maybe for the following. First, QU has a strong and well-established infrastructure that allows such a shift. Then the QU host will prepare faculty and staff who manage the shift proficiently, and also QU is immensely offering its faculty members continuous support and professional development during regular semesters, even before COVID-19. But due to COVID-19, QU expedited its countermeasures to safeguard against any breakdowns in its education system and to guarantee its flow through the full online teaching. The bright side of this experience, in fact, it triggered the enthusiasm for everyone to move to online embedded teaching. COVID-19 works like a wake-up call for everyone, higher education institutions. For them, no immunity against another wave of coronavirus or the like. We need to be ready and to be prepared. For the world, education is not at the luxury of being taken off guard again. For all stakeholders and parents and families in specific, we all need to be on alert. That's was the context for our study. The purpose of the study was to explore and describe the instructors' experiences and attitudes toward the sudden shift to online teaching, to shed light on the learned lessons and to build on this experience for the coming days. The questions driving the study were, number one, will faculty members embrace technology-embedded learning into campus teaching? How did COVID-19 expedite the turning over to technology-embedded online teaching approach? And what challenges did instructors face while switching to remote teaching? The methodology for the study, it's like exploring the situations. So there was like data collection, mixed method approach, followed quantitative and qualitative tools. We have a web-based survey questionnaire, and qualitative, we're using the, we're running the semi-structured interviews. We're trying to target all the population at a QU. All will help us, that will help us in generalizing our results and findings to the whole community. The projected results so far in terms of embracing technology, embedded learning indicators refer to disparity in faculty readiness, manifest, and their attitudes, skills, and quality. For COVID-19 contributed, in fact, huge to the turning over to technology embedded online teaching, and multifaceted challenges face instructors and students. In conclusion, COVID-19 showed as a powerful player enforcing its rules on every walk of life. Education is greatly affected. Students, we don't want them to be the biggest losers. Instructors are overwhelmed. That is a fact, and they need to cope with the situation and build up on that. Hard decisions in front of decision makers. That's why we need research to enlighten such decisions. Families and the hardships they're facing while partnering up with schools for the sake of helping their children, but still we can see the silver line in the darkest cloud of this pandemic. That is all that I want to share with you for today. Thank you all for being here, and it gives me very pleasure to listen and take your question at the end of this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Yusuf.
Thank you.
Next presenter, you're welcome. Our next presenter, Dr. Sabah Qadi, is an Associate Director of the Co-Curriculum Program at Qatar University and is my friend too. Dr. Sabah earned her PhD from the University of Reading in 2018. She has delivered master's and undergrad programs which have covered a range of topics including education policies, second language acquisition and teaching. Doctor's research interest is related to teacher education and continual professional development. Dr. Sabah will now present their research on Student Teachers Agency in the Transition to Emergency Online Learning. I say their, as it is a joint research of Dr. Du from Qatar University and Dr. Yuman Shaban from the Lebanese Republic. Dr. Sabah, over to you.
Thank you so much for this introduction, and thank you for giving me this chance to share our research ideas that we conducted through the pandemic. A student teacher agency in the transition to emergency online. While scientists and doctors were on the front lines combating the COVID-19 pandemic, educators around the world, you and me, of course, were forced to find innovative solutions for sudden school and university lockdowns. The unknown pandemic COVID-19 forced us to move, as Dr. Yusuf and Dr. Mahmoud said and explained, moved us to online teaching, and it was not our choice or our students' choice. So therefore, we started in this the idea of this study, and the aim of this study to the aim of this study is to move. Let's move the camera and make it done. The aim of this study, in this study we think about the university course, the emergency online courses, and the few training opportunities that is provided for a university faculty and for the students as well. And the most important is the student agencies.
Sabah, we can't see your video.
You can't see the video?
No, we can't.
I will stop sharing and share again. You can see my presentation?
No, we can't see your presentation.
Now?
Okay, now yes, fine.
It works?
Thank you. Yes, fine. Go on.
Sorry, I explained this apart. So the purpose of this presentation and this aim to examine the factors that influence a student agency during this sudden transition to online courses at College of Education at Qatar. The literature review was focusing on the student agency, on the personalizing the learning experience, taking active roles in learning, enhancing teachers' introduction. Also, we focus on maintaining elements of good teaching, taking advantages of the affordableness technology that is provided by Qatar University. The literature review, our literature review focus on the way that technology facilitates the whole teaching and studying online through personalized learning experience, allowing students to work at their own pace while being responsive to their needs. Researchers in this study further agree that online learning provides learners with the opportunity to work flexibility, exercise learner control, and take more active role in their learning. 4 constructs were identified in this research of the students' agency include self-regulated learning, self-efficacy beliefs, motivation, and contextual support. Those constitute the theoretical framework guided by this study. Such benefits required a transformed practice from both instructor and students. For instance, for example, rather than replicated face-to-face classroom practice, we think that instructors are encouraged to take advantages of the affordable technology while maintaining the elements of good teaching, such creating engaging materials, setting a clear learning outcomes, monitoring students' engagement, and offering constructive feedback, which is so important. That is what we came up with from the literature review. Also, it's important to teach how to manage the time effectively, keeping up with the class requirement, and contributing constructively to the class discussion as well. So the literature review, simply we define the agency that constitutes a student's capacity to act upon, regulate, and enrich their learning experience within the social culture context of the physical classroom, and more recently in the online environment. Also, we focus on the student's agency that constitutes the capacity to act internationally towards individual goals, change established patterns of the classroom interactive, personalize their learning, and enrich both lessons and the condition under which they learn. Our theoretical framework of the study was students' agency mainly. We were focusing on motivation, self-efficacy beliefs, self-regulated learning, and social cultural context. Our research questions were, we had two research questions. The first one, which factors influence students' teachers' ability to practice agency in the transition to emergency online learning? The second one, how can educators provide learning opportunities that enhance students' teacher ability to practice agency? We use quantitative and qualitative methods to answer these questions. We adopted the mixed method research design of a total 202 students, teachers. They are in education college. They respond to the survey, and we had an interview with some of them as well. This is a summary of the method that we did with the students. My voice, I'm losing my voice now. The results indicate that these are the participants. They are 22. Majority, they are females, because the majority of the education college, they are females. We have a few males as well. They complete, those students complete the coursework online 5 weeks after the lockdown. After the 5 weeks, we started the survey and interview. The result of this study indicate that there were 3 clear cut factors extracted, which accounted for 69% of the total variance. The extracted factors were motivation and self-efficacy beliefs, self-regulated learning, and social culture support. This result confirmed by using the paired sample t-test, which were conducted in order to compare the means of the 3 factors. The factors of self-regulated learning and social culture support were found to influence the students' agency more significantly than their motivation and self-efficacy beliefs combined. We talk about them. So the findings mainly related to the motivation and self-efficacy beliefs. It focused on the growing in independence, valuing, most of the students, they value the online learning experience. most of them, they really like it, especially the one who's got children and who they are mom. And they find it useful because of the time consuming going back and forth to the university. We were shocked about this result. Also, the students gain confidence through inactive mastery experiences. This is, the students explained at the beginning, it is so hard for them to absorb the idea of online course, but after a few days, they feel confident and feel, wow, we really like the online experience. Our major findings that we find the students, teachers were mostly intrinsically motivated to pursue learning online, given the fact that they didn't voluntarily choose to complete it. Even they were forced to study online, but they really like it, and they feel motivated after a while, after 5 weeks. They have accepted, we find that also the online learning provides them with the opportunities to grow in independence. Most of the students, they started to say, yes, we have to look for some answer for the question. We try to watch videos, we try to do different activities to learn, rather than depend on the doctors inside the campus. One of the students, which is here, I quoted, I am confident that I can learn more online. I've become highly skilled using different programs. And if there is a skill that I lack, I try as much as I can to learn it. So from this, we can see that the students really learn. Regarding the self-regulated learning, the students invest extra time efficiently. So most of the students report that they try to teach themselves how to do and use different programs to collaborate and use it to communicate with each other. They adopting multiple self-regulated learning techniques as well. So I quoted some of the students. They said, I have a large calendar. I write in every square on it. I'll attend the classes and do my assignment, and I cross out what I have completed. This is reflect the multiple self-regulated learning techniques that they gain through online courses. They also invest extra time efficiently. She said, one of the students said, I make use of online resources and references created in such paper based on the recent literature. So as we can see here from the example, the students, some of the students really like the idea of online courses. One of the findings also, the social culture support. They overcome the challenges with the doctors, with their friends, also with the support of some of them with their family, where they find a place where they try to find for them place to study and learn. They find also a lot of the doctors, they are very supportive, they were patient, and they try to communicate with them more than face-to-face at the beginning of the pandemic. One of the students, it's interesting, she said, overall most of instructors were considerate to the fact that this is a new thing for us. They support and motivate us, which help us to get through these difficult times. As we can see here from the finding, the students are growing independently through this pandemic. They value, most of the students value the online learning experience, which is good. Unexpected, but it's very good. The result of the factors of self-regulated learning and social culture support were found influence the student-teacher agency more significantly than their motivation and self-efficacy beliefs combined. Student-teachers' efficacy were maintained through inactive mastery experience. When students enact agency in learning situations where they feel capable of accomplish their learning goals, this will make them feel more competent. We discussed also the finding that, which is I explained it before, what is the type of self-regulated, and The participants, which is important to us in this research, they had resilience to overcome multiple challenges, whether personal, interpersonal, or technical nature, by teaching themselves and overcome these challenges. Practical implications for this study, we focus on communication, facilitation, and guidance, which is important. Scaffolding the students' learning, and strategic planning is important as well for overcoming such a sudden pandemic. Thank you for listening to us, and thank you for giving us a chance to share our research. Thank you so much. To you, Suzanne.
Thank you, Dr. Sabah, for that presentation. We now move on to our next presenter, a professor of educational psychology and director of Social Observatory, Oman. Dr. Saeed Adafri, our next presenter, completed his PhD at University of British Columbia, Canada in 2006. He has co-authored 100 referred journal articles, 4 books, 6 book chapters, and 150 conference papers. Wow, that's huge. He is a receiver of many academic awards, including Sultan Qaboos and Showman's Research Awards. Doctor is associated with the Sultan Qaboos University and Ministry of Higher Education, Scientific Research and Innovation, Oman. The paper, Omani Students, Online Academic Efficacy Beliefs in Relation to Study Anxiety during COVID-19, that Dr. Saeed is presenting, is a joint research with Salma Al-Alawi from the Ministry of Education, Oman. Over to you, Doctor. Dr. Saeed. Professor Saeed, yeah, your camera, we can't see you. Yeah. Professor Saeed, yes, welcome.
Yes, sorry. Thank you very much, Susanna, for the introduction. And I'm trying to share with you the presentation. So just give me a second here.
Sure.
Is my sound is clear?
Yes.
Good. Thank you. Okay, so welcome everybody. Is the presentation now, you can see my presentation?
Yes, it's perfect.
Good, good, thank you. So welcome to this presentation. My name is Saeed.
Professor, excuse me,
Yes.
Professor, can you present it on the slide mode?
You mean like this?
Yes,
Good.
perfect, thank you.
So our presentation is titled by Students' Online Academic Efficacy Beliefs in Relation to Study and Anxiety during COVID-19. And I am authoring this presentation with Ms. Al-Alawi from Ministry of Education. The goal of the study was to examine Omani students' online academic self-efficacy beliefs in relation to their study and anxiety during COVID-19. Well, in Oman, as a result of the ongoing pandemic of COVID-19, schools and universities shifted to online learning. I will say this shift was almost new for most students in Oman, especially when we are talking about school students or university students. There were some courses for sure that they were like run on through online learning, but the majority of the classes at the university were like the regular classes. And in Sultan Qaboos University back in March 14th, I believe, we stopped the university for 1 month. And then the university administration decided to continue that semester using online learning. And this study took place during that time because, as I heard from other presenters, and actually as we see nowadays, many students enjoy online learning in this semester compared to the previous semester. So our study was administered in around April, May, where the experience of online learning was kind of like new for most students. Students faced a new challenge trying to keep up with the university expectations and with their own academic goals because they just had to go through this experience for which they did not really prepare, whether psychologically or like preparing the learning environment. This was true for both, I will say, students as well as instructors. Our study focuses on examining students' academic efficacy beliefs in relation to their anxiety about online learning during COVID-19. And anxiety refers to the students' feeling of tension, worry, fear of failure because of the new situation of studying. And efficacy beliefs the students' beliefs about their ability to succeed academically in their university work. So we tried in this research then to see the relationship between students' anxiety and their efficacy beliefs. And as you know, there is a lot of research examining these two variables. And previous research shows, including our own research here in Oman, shows that as efficacy beliefs increase, anxiety decrease. So there is an established link between the two variables. However, this was not done during any situation like this year's situation with COVID-19 and the challenge that occur in all aspects of life. So we thought to examine this link between anxiety and efficacy beliefs during this period of time. We targeted SQU, that's Sultan Qaboos University students, through an online questionnaire. In this presentation, we are focusing on bachelor students. Actually, we included both graduate and undergraduate, but in this presentation, I am just focusing on the bachelor students from SQU because it was a large sample in our data collection, so we thought it might be better to focus on bachelor students. We had 381 students who participated in the study, in the majority of them from SQU, and the rest were from some other universities here in Oman. The sample consisted of 313 female students and 125 male students. In order to examine the students' anxiety and their efficacy beliefs, we developed a new anxiety questionnaire that is specific for the online learning anxiety. We depended on some existing anxiety measures to develop the items of the new questionnaire, and we included 9 items using 5-point Likert scale. For the efficacy beliefs, we adapted the efficacy beliefs scale, which is part of the motivated strategies and learning questionnaire. This is a well-known international questionnaire in motivation, and we changed the wording of the items to fit with the situation of online learning, and we included 5 items using the same 5-point Likert scale. We examined their reliability, and you can see from this slide the reliability was good to motivate us to carry on the analysis of the study. We used the linear regression equation to examine the connection between self or academic self-efficacy beliefs, which we treated as independent variable, to predict the students' anxiety level. And as you can see, the coefficients were significant, and the relation was established between the 2 variables. The results indicated that efficacy beliefs can predict or can explain 12% of the variance on students' anxiety. Here a typo. It was, as you can see from the table, it was 12% of variance explained by this model. And looking at the theory behind efficacy beliefs, as we know that when students have strong beliefs about their ability to perform well and to succeed in school, this feeling of beliefs allowed the students to look for different strategies that can help them to monitor and to control their school work. And we know that there were many challenges that students faced during this year because of the shift from the regular classroom to the online learning, which forced these students to kind of evaluate their beliefs about their ability to succeed in the school work. And those students who have developed high levels of efficacy beliefs, they were able to control for their anxiety, to minimize the feeling of worry and fear of failure, because they tried to control for the factors that help them to succeed in their university work during that time. And as I mentioned, this study was done around May, so almost 1 month after the online learning started at SQU and other universities here in Oman. It was around the beginning of April 2020. So the results showed high levels actually of anxiety with some moderate level of efficacy beliefs. But as you can see, as efficacy beliefs increase, anxiety reduces. So to conclude our presentation, I think there is an important need
for providing counseling services for students, because a large percentage of students reported high level of studying and anxiety because of these new challenging situations for online learning. So the universities should pay attention to providing these counseling services to help students and support students during this transition. And even though we have already almost in the middle of the second semester, but we hear from our students that kind of fear and worry about this online learning. But the students, I believe, they are, with the help that they are getting from the university, I think they will overcome the challenge. We have developed here at SKU some kind of support programs for students through different training programs and sessions where those students are taught some online study strategy. So that's another recommendation from our study, is to develop online study strategies, because not all the strategies that students usually use in their normal classes can fit or can help during online learning. So there is a need to develop online study strategies. And our final recommendation, because the level of efficacy believes was a moderate level, we need as educators to promote student motivation, especially focusing on the value of learning and online learning, and also introducing some motivating teaching methods where we can kind of maximize our student motivation so they can enjoy learning. Actually, previous research shows that when students' value of online learning increases, their enjoyment increases, and their motivation also increases. So these are like three main recommendations based on our findings. And this is the conclusion of our presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Saeed Adafri, for your presentation. Our final presenter this afternoon actually, is Professor Ahmed Aish, again from Qatar University. A PhD in physics from the University of Canterbury, he is currently the acting director of the Center for Sustainable Development and a professor of physics at the Math, Statistics and Physics Department at the College of Arts and Science. Professor has 107 publications in refereed international journals and conferences, with many papers under consideration publication. Furthermore, he has 6 registered patents. He leads a research group here at Qatar University of a few faculty members, grad and undergrad students, and research assistants on nanomaterial synthesis and their devices application. Doctor will now present his paper titled, Using Mobile Technology to Enhance Student Problem-Solving Skills. Over to you, Professor.
Thank you very much for the introduction. In fact, it's not an easy task to be a professor of physics. Normally, when I have this discussion with anybody, actually, on an airplane or in a train or in a bus, that what do I do? When I say that I'm a professor of physics, then the first response of the people is that, oh, I hate physics. And we do understand this. Probably people faced many difficulties during their early stage of life in studying physics. So, in fact, I took part of my time, my research time, to do some research on how to enhance the teaching of physics for at least the first-year student courses, because they are the most important ones. They are the courses that they face the students when they start their university degree. So basically, we have a lot of observations normally, and this actually, those observations have been accumulating throughout my about 38 years of experience in teaching physics. That normally the performance of the students is very poor. Their pass rate is very poor. Like for those, we did some stats for certain semesters. The pass percentage actually was very bad. And even actually, I would be very happy even now if I get an average grade of my students of like 70%. That would be a very high actually percentage. So now, normally the observations that we see is that the students, when they get the exam, they say, "Oh, sir, the questions that we face in the exam are different than the one that we did in the class." So basically, they can solve only problems that they have exactly the same steps and the same variables, in fact, that to the ones that we did in the class. So they tend actually to memorize those, and they memorize the steps, and they want to do the same. So basically, if you do actually any change in the question, probably that will give them like hard time, and then they cannot figure out what they have to do. So we started focusing and thinking myself, along with a group of professors in physics, in fact, how can we enhance this? How can we improve this? So we actually, since more than 12 years now, using Blackboard as an efficient tool for teaching the physics courses. That includes that we put the course materials on the Blackboard. We do actually utilize the gradebook and annotation, but what's most important is the grade center, in fact, that we try actually what's more important is the online test that we utilize the Blackboard for. In fact, we started this long before the pandemic, but when the pandemic situation came, we found that this is very helpful. In fact, we were almost ready. We didn't have to change a lot because we were already set, in fact, with our technique of online test and online quizzes. So there are many advantages of doing online tests, in fact, that we do those outside the class time, so we save the class time. Normally, we can give the students questions out of pools, so that we guarantee that the questions are different for each individual students. We can give the student a single trial or multiple trial, and we can, after the students finish the quiz or the test, we give them some sort of feedback, and this actually supports the assessment for learning. So the objective here is not only to test the student, objective is to educate the students. So we use, in fact, the test itself as a tool to educate them, because we give them some sort of feedback. And then we started, what's important is that the way to design the question, because according to our observations, we noticed that the students always say, okay, this question that I face in the exam is different than the one that we did in the classroom. So now we started actually to take a symbol, the single actually style of a question, and rephrase that question with many different ways, and in those different ways that we can give certain quantities in the question, and we ask for certain variables. And this is basically an example where we have the same question but in 4 different forms. So in every form, actually, we give certain values and certain variables, and we ask them to calculate something else. And so actually, this type or those types of questions, in fact, broaden the vision of the students rather than taking actually a single question and memorize the steps of these questions. They can now see that the question can actually be given to them in certain ways, and they practice the skill of solving problems. But now, since that time, we started to notice some enhancements of the students' grades. In fact, those are results of large groups of students, above 300 students, in fact. And since we started this in fall 2008, our grades were enhanced. And in fact, we did some sort of comparison between certain concepts that we teach for the first year students, like projectile motion or kinematics, and we compared their grades with actually before the application of the online test and after the application of the online test. But then the online test, we figured this actually out long time ago, probably 10 years ago. It faced a serious problem, which is the honesty and the plagiarism issue. And students, although actually we do whatever we can to prevent cheating, but it's still there. This is actually for a sample of our students. And in here, we compare the results of the online test and with the written test. We see that we can actually fit a straight line with a slope of almost 1, close to the 1, which is very good, in fact, within the concentration of the results. But you can see a lot of scattering points here. So the points that are above the line, which you see in here, those are students that they were cheating, in fact, because they get higher online test grades than the ones with the written test. Well, the students, some students actually, they receive very poor online test grades as compared with the written test. And those students actually, they don't take the online test process. They don't take it as serious as they should, in fact. So they don't actually care too much about spending enough time to do the test. So, but again, we said that we were happy that the grades were enhanced, but look here at the grades. I mean, even in this semester, in fact, the grades were below 65%. And that's not actually, it's not something that is very good. In fact, we are hoping that we can get at some stage an average grade for the physics courses of around 75% with a regional distribution curve. If I get that, I'll be the happiest man in the world, in fact. So that's my dream. So we need to work more actually to enhance the student problem-solving skills so that their performance in the exams can get better, in fact. So we thought actually that one thing that we should do is to provide tutorial sessions. So, but tutorial sessions for students, it faces a serious problem that we create or we establish tutorial sessions. It overlaps with student class, and you never can actually create a tutorial session for students that is suitable for all student times. Also, you know that faculty members are overloaded always in the university. For myself, I'm a director of a research center, and I do teach one physics course, so I'm already overloaded. I cannot afford a lot of time actually for tutorial sessions, and we don't have access to teaching assistants, many teaching assistants, in fact. So we have to find a solution to provide tutorial sessions to give the students more skills of problem solving. So we started this idea, and this idea actually it came with a creation of certain videos that actually designed with certain objectives for each subject that they can actually enhance the problem-solving strategy of the students. So, in fact, each video is a short video, like 2 or 3 minutes. It focuses on certain concept of the physics, and it has a certain objective within the problem-solving strategy of that subject. So, in fact, there are many applications that can be used, but one application that we use, and it was an efficient, and it was actually there since long time, it's a Mac application. It's called Educreation, but again, we don't have to use this particular one. This is the one that I did like and use, but I mean, instructors can use any different applications. And nowadays, actually, due to the pandemic situation, we witnessed actually too many applications that appear that can be used for this objective, for the same objective. So here we go. So we started certain generation of those short videos with certain objective of each actually certain video. So here we put a certain objective for this video. So for example, for this one, I want the students to become familiar with the one-dimensional motion problem and master the motion diagram, blah, 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 and so on. So we take this in consideration when I design this video. Right. So let me stop this and stop the presentation here, and because I want to show you actually the video. Hopefully I get it right. I hope that I can get this relatively fast for you. So let me see how we do here.
Professor, on the taskbar up, there is a share. And
yeah, I'm looking at the share.
Yeah, and if you click on that, I think it says share with video.
Yeah, the video actually is on the web, in fact. Okay, so I will share the application, which is the web.
Okay.
Right, so can you see actually the website?
There's a problem that has come up. Yeah, a truck starts. Is that the one? The video, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yes. Okay, I'll mute. Is there an audio with it, Professor?
Yeah, you cannot hear it actually?
No, we can't hear the audio. We only can see what's happening there.
I have to stop it anyway because basically I ran out of time. So I do apologize actually that you didn't hear the audio of that. I'm back to the presentation. In fact, hopefully, if somebody is interested, I can give him or her some examples of those videos. But at least you saw the video, probably without the audio. There's an audio, in fact. So again, we design short videos. Each one of them, of those actually, is within 2 to 3 minutes, and we explain the objectives. We set certain objectives for this video, and we cover those objectives. And by the end, actually, we give it to the students, and those videos were popular actually among students. They did like them because they felt, in fact, that they enhance their problem-solving skills. This is another example. And here are 2 questions. Actually, we wanted to test the effectiveness of this technique. Here's a question, actually, for a test that was before we started doing those videos. And this is another question after we started the process of doing the videos. The concept actually of both of them are the same, which is the vectors. In fact, they were both on the same vectors and we did this test for about 54 students. We tested certain questions which has the same concept. You can see that there is some enhancement. In fact, there's about 6% enhancement, and that number is close to 70, which is a good number, in fact, for us. So we did show actually that those tutorials, in fact, and short tutorials, they actually enhance the problem-solving skills of the students. Of course, this process is ongoing, and we need to work harder actually to enhance the problem-solving skills of the physics courses. But in fact, we found that the most effective technique, in fact, to enhance the problem-solving students is to provide tutorials. Whether those tutorials are in class or online. Online are efficient here because, in fact, the students can do them during their spare time, and they can repeat watching they can watch the video repeatedly until actually they master this technique. Hopefully, by this presentation, I showed you one technique of using online technology, in fact, to enhance the problem-solving skills of students, in particular for physics courses. And in particular, we were focusing on the first-year physics courses. I am thankful for you. Thank you very much, and that's it for me. And I would be always very happy to get your questions and discussions. Whether now or later on, you can see my email, my contact email. We can have any discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor. So that was it. Some very, very interesting and knowledgeable presentations. Thank you, professors. Thank you, doctors. We do have a few questions over here. Can we have all the people, please? Yes. The first question is for Dr. Yusuf Ashabul. Dr. Yusuf, could you unmute, please? Dr. Murad Boghera, yes, I'm not quite sure whether I'm pronouncing it correctly. Murad Boghera asks, in your study, did you take parents and parents' experiences in the sudden change? Can you answer that very briefly, please?
No, in fact, that is for another study. Already did the blueprint for that and had some literature on that, and we already set the questions, so that will be in another study.
Oh, okay, thank you. Murad, you've got your answer, I hope? Thank you, doctor. Another question for Dr. Saeed Adafri. Dr. Saeed? Yes, he's here. I was thinking, desperate students, might fall behind in studies when they despair. So, do you think it would be possible to introduce differentiated online learning to help reduce student anxiety, study anxiety? Differentiation is a big thing. So could you do that
Thank you very much for this good question. Yes, I think using technology, we are in a better situation to allocate resources for our students of different abilities, of different interests. But I think one important thing to pay attention to is getting ready as teachers at school or instructors. If we prepare ourselves, if we prepare our lesson very well, I think we will be able to kind of accommodate our instruction for all the students from different levels of cognitive ability or even their interest. I think online learning can provide us with good tools, actually, but we just need to work a little bit on it. And when we establish this good supporting online environment, I think many people will find online learning to be better than just the regular learning.
Okay. Thank you, Professor. Dr. Sabah, there is a question for you from Anita.
Hi, Anita.
Yeah. Dr. Sabah. Anita asks, what did she say? Can you explain scaffolding student learning in online learning? What method would you use in the classroom? Scaffolding student learning in online learning. How would you do that?
The scaffolding is where the students, where you know where the students are, and then you try to build on their knowledge. So some of the students, they are very good in using technology and communication and using different applications. But some of the students, they were not exposed to this. So it's important to know where your students are and try to support them with using these different apps and technology to communicate within the course.
Okay. Thank you, Anita. I hope your question was answered. Thanks, Sabah. I have another question here for Professor Mahmoud Alumari. Professor Mahmoud, are you here? Is Professor Mahmoud still here? I'm not sure. Professor Ahmed, would you please unmute? Yes, thank you.
Yep, I'm there.
Yes, I'm just wondering, Doctor, do you see educational instruction through mobile technology application overtaking in-person learning? Could we be? No.
Not at all. In fact, we had to do this now because of the pandemic situation. But in fact, mobile technology, especially for I'm speaking about the discourse, never can take over the actual instruction, class instruction actually of students. It can the online technology and the it can support that is established in class, but it cannot replace it. And in fact, we could see this clearly during this semester from the students, where
there's something wrong with your audio, Doctor. You're losing you.
I feel
yes, with your audio.
Yeah, I'm there.
Yes, now, you're just breaking up on and off, but now you're fine.
Yeah. So,
oh, it's going back.
The signal, yeah. So, we have seen the results actually clearly. So, I'll take off the
yes, probably that will be better.
So, probably that will make it. Yes, so we have seen the results actually of the students this semester, and it's in fact it shows give indications in this direction. We teach the students fully online, and we examine them in class, and the results were disasters. We never had worst results for physics courses. In fact, than what we had this semester when we were teaching fully online and examining the students in reality in the class.
Yeah. So
the conclusion is no, actually. The online applications, mobile applications, they can support the education process, but they cannot replace the in-class.
Yes, I agree too. I agree. Thank you very much once again. And as we conclude the session, I thank all of you for attending and sincerely hope that it was time well spent, attendees. Thank you once again, presenters, for your rich information that helped push back the boundaries of our knowledge. I also thank all those who worked behind the scene to help make this conference a success. I would think so. We invite you to follow the rest of the training sessions, attendees, and of course the presenters if you want to, noting that each has its own identification code that you can find in the conference program. I am Susanna Mascarenas signing off and hope to meet you in another educational forum conference in the future. With greetings from the National Center for Educational Development in the College of Education, Qatar University. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.